It's
So
so good to see you.
I know it's really good to see you too. I'm excited
Mhm.
to be caught up on what's going on for you. Yes, ladies, welcome. This is Louisa. I was actually just looking back at when you came into my program, and it was 5 months ago.
I know, isn't that crazy?
It's totally crazy. It seems like 17 years and also 3 minutes at the
Yeah,
same, the
because
same.
2020 has taken like 10 years and then flown right by.
It's so bizarre. I know. And I mean, it's really cool that we are kind of going through this and experiencing it together in such a supportive and loving and wonderful community,
Yes.
regardless. And with like, there's a couple different communities that we're both a part of. And regardless of how much we like engage in the like day to day moments, like, we still have that kind of energy, which is like forward moving, uplifting, inspiring. We're going to get through it. Like, it ain't over till it's over, kind of mentality. And we just keep
Exactly.
going.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Well, maybe you want to tell the ladies a little bit about like what led up to you deciding to join my program. Like, give us a little history on what was going on. I know that you had a lot of health stuff happening.
Yes.
So yeah, tell us.
So, since I have Hashimoto's. It sometimes just like comes back around and flares with some weird stuff, and depending on what I'm eating and how stressed I am, and 2020, don't even get me started with that.
Totally.
It's like a roller coaster of anxiety.
Mm.
But I try to minimize that. So, and I've done fairly well about those kinds of things previously. But I came into your program because I had gained a little bit of weight and I had some kind of digestive issues, and I just wasn't feeling like I was probably supporting my body the way that I needed to.
Mm.
And I haven't had a personal trainer for several years, which I know impacts how much I work out and how intense I work out. And so I knew I needed to do something. And then you introduced your program, and I went to your masterclass for it. And I was like, yeah, I need to find out more about this so I can get my stuff on track. And then also, I think thinking back, I know it's only 5 months, but it seems like forever. But I think I had some questions about how menopause was also impacting how my thyroid is working and how much fat is sticking on my body and those kinds of things. So those were the main reasons why I wanted to join. And I had some concerns about that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was what got me started, was just wanting to move in the direction of staying healthy and implementing some more relaxation kind of things and not being so keyed up about every little piece of food that I put in my mouth, because I don't eat gluten, just because I have the celiac gene activated, and with the Hashimoto's, I just don't because I can't. It causes all kinds of weird things. So I knew I needed a little bit of support in that area. And it seemed like your program was going to be the perfect way to go.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point, if you don't mind, because I think that unfortunately, a lot of us, seemingly unknowing, right, kind of end up doing stuff that like we don't even realize that we're doing and it's not working for us. So that whole like not having gluten and being on medication thing, that was actually a really fascinating revelation. Um, when you realize that the medication had something funky in it. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes. Okay, that just happened. I know it seems like so long ago, but again, that was just like 45 days ago
Yeah.
that I figured that out with my doctor. So I've been seeing my physician. She's been treating me since 2011. She's the one that got me on natural thyroid medication, and she's a naturopath. She's really great, really super at listening and being supportive. And so she had to change my thyroid meds last year because the one that I was on, the lab wasn't, they had some problems with the FDA and some other things. So they couldn't make it anymore. So she just switched me over the phone. She was like, I can't refill this. You're going to have to try this one. And so I didn't really look into what was the fillers, or, I was like, oh, it's probably just the same thing. So I started taking it and I was on it for 13 months. And I wondered, like, I went to her with all these symptoms of some weight gain and eczema really bad on my hands. And when I have eczema, I know it's gluten. I mean, I know I've tested it out many times. since I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. And I'm like, I'm sure I can just eat it. It's fine. I'm just gonna eat the burger. It's fine. It's not, I'll just do it one time. And then, 3 days later, I wake up and it's just like covered in itchy bumps. And I'm like, oh, why did I do it? So, anyways, I know I can't do that anymore. So, but I was telling her, I know when I have eczema, it's gluten, and I'm not eating gluten, but my hair's falling out again. And the last time that happened, it was gluten, and I'm having some weight gain, although I don't know if that's menopause or, blah, blah, blah. So she's like helping me tick off all the boxes, and we're trying to sort out what it can be. And she said, well, they're having some problems with natural thyroid meds because the labs are, it's not working out well right now. They need a little help. Plus the FDA is really clamping down on things that they really don't need to be, but that's another discussion for another day. But so I'm sitting in her office, and this is like my 4th or 5th meeting with her, going through things and trying different things. And then I was like, okay, she said, I need to change your thyroid meds again because they've been pulled. And I was like, oh. So I said, well, let's go through what can you give me? And so we're going through all the boxes and checking out which ones there are, which ones haven't been pulled. And she goes, there's this one and this one. And I was like, I saw her list, and I said, do you have a list of what's in them? And she goes, yeah, and the strength of them. And I said, just out of, curiosity, the one you've had me on, does that have gluten as a filler or dairy? And she looks it up. She goes, gluten. So for 13 months, every day I was having a tiny bit of gluten.
Oh, it just kept building up, and your body was like screaming, please stop
It really
doing
was.
that.
And now it's been 45 days, and all the eczema is gone from my hands. And with, eating on your program and then getting on my new thyroid meds, the weight's coming back off, the fat's coming off, and I'm sleeping better. And so all the things that happen when I eat gluten, it's just getting back on track. And it seems like it wouldn't take you that long, because
3
it
months.
takes like, it's like overnight when you eat it and you start seeing the symptoms, it's almost immediate. And then it takes like months for you to get out of there. So yeah. So I sorted that out. So it is really important and I know this now, I mean, I knew it before, but I really know it now, that if you have these kinds of things going on, it's really important that you pay attention to what you're eating, because you might think, oh, it's no big deal, but it's a really big deal.
A really big deal. Yeah. I should do a little power lesson on that so that we can have a little bit more understanding about like what the reaction actually is and what's happening.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's body's a little bit different, but generally speaking,
Yeah.
that was really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Cause I remember when you figured that out, it was like a revelation. It was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, of course. And what was kind of nice about that as well, though, is that because you had already started my program. So you were already in the habit of eating really well, showing up for yourself like that, taking the time in the space, like figuring out how to do that at work and how to do it at home. You had already been getting the exercise back in and motivating me to walk more as well, because you kept posting those beautiful pictures of the Arizona sunrise in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, like that's how we get inspired by each other, right? It's not just someone saying, do this, do that. Like we know.
Exactly.
It's that subtleness.
Yeah, a huge part of it for me, because I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I'm a little bit keyed up, a little edgy. So a huge part of it for me is to just relax, like take a few more breaths. It's going to be okay. Like I'm pretty intense about stuff a lot of the times when I'm working towards a goal, or even going through my day, and, everybody's got a list and you got tasks, and I'm one of those people that has to check off my tasks. And so I can get a little bit intense about things sometimes. And then when things aren't going well, then I tend to dwell on it and just have those constant feedback loops in my head, and the conversations that go on, and the negative self-talk and that kind of stuff when things aren't, like, why do I have this? What's wrong with me? Why do I have Hashimoto's? Blah, blah, blah. And then you can just like spin out on that kind of stuff if you're not just like, okay, it is, accept what it is, and let's just deal with that. We'll move on from there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically how I have to tell myself, well, okay, Louisa, listen, stop, and then move on to something else. But the hypnosis in your program was like a game changer for me, because I'd always, not always, but for several years, I've done meditation at night, just a short 12-minute little like Chris Carr's meditation, and those that just like get you to breathe and calm down from your day and empty your mind so you can go to sleep. But hypnosis was just totally different. It just takes you to a totally different level in your brain. So I did that. I did yours, morning and night sometimes, and those were amazing. Just to get in there and to realize later, like you do a hypnosis at night before bed, and then the next day, like 1 p.m., you're like, oh, and it just like something happens, and you're like, huh, that's what Rose was talking about in our hypnosis session. It's like it totally is working. My brain knows what I want it to do. So
Oh,
that was amazing. Really, really great part of your program. And I think that's one of the main things that sets your program apart from just like a nutrition program or a coaching program is the hypnosis. That's the extra part that's really cool.
oh, it's so cool. Thank you for acknowledging that. I mean, that was my experience as well, right? Years ago when I got trained as a hypnotherapist and people were coming in and they were getting great results just with that.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, what if you actually had like community and support and like the structure of a food plan where we're like really, having a little bit more. The analogy that was shared with me the other day that I just love is that it's like like riverbanks, right? Like the structure, like it's not so much that you're inside in this like closed area, separate from everybody else. It's
yeah,
more like the banks of a river that come in so you can actually feel the flow and the power and the movement of the water. And then it's so much easier to get to where you're going when you have just a little bit of structure. You're not just a marsh,
exactly.
water all over
Yeah.
the place.
Or just like, your canoe's going over the rapids and you're just like hanging on for dear life. You don't know what's happening. You have no control.
There's that experience.
Helps you just float nicely through in the flow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Just the Amazon, just woo,
Yeah,
just cruising
totally.
along. Yeah, that's so wonderful.
Totally. Also, I know I told you guys I was off social media, so I very rarely go on Facebook or Instagram now or Twitter, and it has like changed my life.
Wow, I
Yeah,
know.
so
Yeah,
I'm
you were
trying to
very
read and write.
well. That's right, because you're a writer,
Yeah.
and so
So
you.
this spring I started a program. It was like 15 weeks to learn how to write a novel from start to finish, like a specific way that publishers want it. And it was intense. So it was like with weekly lessons and homework and checking in with people. So I would check in on our grid with all the other people who were in that program. So I think I'm going to take their next one starting next week. So not scrolling and scrolling and scrolling endlessly and mindlessly gives me a lot more time in my life for things I want to do.
That's fair. Yeah, I know that myself and a couple other people in the group have posted some. Hey, here's how to get the best experience out of Facebook and not get lost in it.
Nice.
Right? Here's
Mm-hmm.
how to, really just identify the groups that you want to be in and like, whoop, you can leave the rest aside.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that you are following your passion and you're right. When you first signed up with me in the first couple emails, when you're like, well, what exactly is this program and like how is it going to help me? I have these things going on. So would you maybe share with the ladies what you found about menopause, what you found to be true and what you found to be just kind of a lot of chatter?
Well, so if you're having menopause symptoms, you need to see a physician so they can help you with that. So my naturopath put me on, we tweak some things so to get rid of the night sweats and the hot flashes and the waking up, just like bursting awake at 2 a.m. So that is not right. So, but also it has to do regulating your blood sugar
Mhm.
and not eating sugar and
Mhm.
not drinking alcohol and just doing some other things that you shouldn't really be doing for your body in middle age anyway, will really help you get off the menopause fluffiness, we'll call it.
I like that. That sounds so much more inspiring than anything else I've heard.
The other F word, the FAT word. I have to focus on that. And then also I took your advice to just leave the scale alone. Just like I don't need that kind of relationship with that scale. I don't need a friend of me like that. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't need that in my life. So just stay off the scale and focus on eating to nourish your body, not eating emotionally, which has been really hard in 2020 to not just be like, where's the sugar? Where's the ice cream? Where's the wine? you
Yeah.
know, It's
That's
been kind of
form.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like tune out the noise. And so your program helped help me focus in on what I needed to be eating. And it was nice to have a list, like here's a list for breakfast, just pick what I need to for this and this and this pick. And then, your videos of making the muffins ahead of time. So you have them ready to go. So when I started back to work, that was really helpful
Yeah.
to have something ready to go in the morning and then ready. I'm still taking a salad with my starch and all my veggies and my protein in it for lunch too. I've inspired other people at work too, because they're like, "Hey, you bring your such a healthy looking lunch every single day." And I'm like, yeah, I feel better. I'm not tired. I'm not tired at 1:30 in the afternoon because I just ate something good for me. So those are the things in the program that, having the list, having the support in with your checking in so many times if you need it, as often as you need it, a couple times a day, the way that you post or you're always there for everyone, that's super helpful. Having a list of foods that you can eat, and when it's not even knowing what to eat, it's more because I kind of already knew what I should be eating, but knowing, what measuring was super important because I think I was probably overeating on my starches, carving it up a little too much.
Yep.
And sometimes it's hard when you don't eat gluten. You're like, you can go overboard on rice or, gluten-free bread or the kinds of things you don't really need to have so much. So actually measuring it on a scale made a big difference. And then just having that hypnosis and having the support, it was all really amazing. And it helped me, the hypnosis part and everything, and just having that support helped me not focus on, well, not saying to myself, I have menopause, so I can't really do anything about this, because that's not really true.
Right.
So that was the story I was saying, because that made it really easy for me to just eat whatever I want then. So it made me have to be honest with myself. That's also what I got from your program. So I had to really get honest about, is it menopause or is it just because I just want to eat some sugar? So
Yeah. Maybe
just
a
a
little bit
little
of
both, little
yeah.
A, little B.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so true. I remember years ago, I was with a client that was really struggling with sugar very deeply. And the suggestion that was given to her was that perhaps we could make her life a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm.
And there is that moment when you just said that, you have energy at 1:30 in the afternoon and other people are noticing that, like that kind of sweetness of life where it's the middle of the day and like you're still ready to go. You're present, you're aware, you're centered, you're alive, you know what I mean? Like you can show up for whoever is in front of you authentically. Like that little gift, that little shift is like worth all the energy and effort that you
For
put into
sure.
it.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah. Thank
Girl,
you. Your program is amazing.
oh,
You're
thank
great.
you. I'm so glad that you chose to join us on this little journey. I do also want to say I acknowledge. I mean, I know that I posted it as well, but I acknowledge that you jumped in a couple of weeks ago and gave us some pictures of some jeans that you hadn't been able to wear
Yes,
for a
I
while.
did. Those are my favorite jeans from the buckle. Yeah. They've been in my drawer forever. And I could not
Yay!
button them.
Yay! Bring them on
It's like
out.
2 years. I think it was 2 years since I've been able to zip those babies up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so
were
that's
looking good.
great. Thanks.
So amazing. I'm so
That was
so
the
happy
support.
for you and so proud of you. It's scary to ask somebody for help.
Yeah.
It honestly is, to say like I don't know what I'm doing and with my body and my weight and my food. Like
Mhm.
it's a big leap of faith.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you taking that leap with me, and that, you've gotten such great results, because you jumped in and you did it. You're like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to follow directions. Like I don't have any other thing to
Yeah.
do right now.
Well, it can be so hard sometimes to figure out what you need to do and what you want to do and what works for you, because there's so much out there. There's so much noise about what to eat and how to exercise. And there's all these, the latest fad. And it's like, just tune it out and just eat real food. And here's how much real food you need to eat. And here's when you need to eat it. Done.
Keep it simple. Girl,
Yeah.
I know. And it's so funny the way that our brain works. Cause when I'm in the grocery line and I look over and I see a magazine and it's got like whatever beautiful person with like whatever diet, like it's like just instinctual. I'm like, oh, I need that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I I don't need that.
Totally. Keto this, and you go on Pinterest and there's like keto dessert. I'm like, if you're no, no, no.
No.
Thing.
Just
No. Yeah. Paleo pumpkin pie. No, that's not a thing.
totally. I hear you. I just go gravitate towards it. But you're right. I mean, it's so nice to have that base foundation, that support. You can always come back to that. It's stable and it's sane and it makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, you will have access to that the whole program with all of the sessions forever. So
That's so great.
yeah, I often go back and listen at least a few times a week because it's just peaceful and it works.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the hypnosis is great. I was a little skeptical about that at first because I was like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah. I meditate. I'm cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's because I'm someone who's always on the path for improvement, like self-improvement. And so I've tried so many things that haven't worked or that didn't really work for me, maybe personally. And so then I was just like, then more things come along and you're like, whatever.
Totally.
But yeah, no, if you do actually do it, it does work. It's amazing. I'm amazed at how our brains work, like how our bodies just know instinctively what to do.
When we get out of the way.
A little miracle.
Yeah, it does. It feels like a miracle, doesn't it? When you're just like, oh my God, I'm not fighting anymore. What? I don't even know what to do with my time.
Totally.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, yeah, thank you for that inspiration and those wonderful words. I look forward to seeing you in coaching sometime soon. See your beautiful face and hear you. Is there anything else that you want to leave the ladies with? Any final words?
I don't know. If you have new people coming into the program and they're not sure, just do it. It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. It's not hard. It's not like, you don't have to starve yourself. There's none of that kind of business going on. And you don't have to try to cook a bunch of weird stuff and buy a bunch of weird ingredients. It's just real food. That's it. Done.
Simple. Totally.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Real food and relaxation. That's what you need.
Right? I mean, it's like, wait, it has to be harder than that. How can that be simple? Eat 3 meals a day, give and get a little bit of support and, encouragement and like relax intentionally.
Yeah. Go out in the sunshine and just calm your mind for a minute every day. Just a few minutes. You're good to go.
Good to go. Cool. Well, keep us posted on your book adventures and everything. I know that I follow you and everything. So if any of the ladies are interested, mosquito. Sorry, I had to get that.
You don't need that. You don't need that in your life.
Seriously, I don't need that in my life. If any of the ladies would like to reach out to you with a question, would it be okay if they?
Yes, absolutely. Anytime, for sure. You can email me or Facebook Messenger or whatever. I check Messenger because my brother gets in touch with me that way. So I watch for Messenger.
That's good to know. Now I know.
Exactly. Yeah. I respond to that quickly.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Rose. I appreciate your program and you and everything you're doing to make the world a better place.
Thank you. Thanks for being a part of the change. I love you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.